Hey folks, time once again to do some retro CSS battles. These are daily targets from the past. This is May 1st, 2024. That's May 2nd, and that's May 3rd. Let's get right to it. I feel like this guy is a, I'm going to use my standard blank template here. I think this is an individual element. It's four elements. That's what it seems like to me. I don't know if I'm gonna get away with that. We're gonna find out. I'm gonna do no margins on the body, and do blue. And what I'd like to do is make each one of these a square. So I'm gonna do set margins, and it's gonna be 0 at the top, something like 300 on the right, 0 on the bottom, and then probably -8 to overcome the margins there. Oh, and I guess the top needs to be -8 as well. So that's a square, right? Roughly. So let's get that into position. And I think what it is, I'm going to put a background on the body, like so. Oh, and that's actually the white. Actually, what I want, that's the blue. Wait a minute. What's going on there? I got some wrong. Oh, that's a dash. There it is. All right. And then each one of these has slightly different border radius and border widths. I guess in theory I could do star box sizing, border box. And then when I change these, when I add borders, so border right, 2 pixels solid white, it will stay in place, right? But I really don't want to do that, because I do that, and then border bottom. And I can set up width to be, but really what I'd like to be is efficient about this. So I'm going to undo that. So the inline, the box on the border on the side is actually going to be okay. But for the height, I need to adjust it. So 30, 40, 50, 60, something like that. Yeah, here we go. So height is 60 and border right, border bottom. So let's fix that and do border solid white, like so, and then do border width, and those widths are going to be what, 30, 30, 0, 0, like that. 30, 30, 30, 30, 0, 0. Oh, and it's actually, no, it's 0, hot, 0, 30, like that, and no background. And the border radius is 0. And we're going to make that a variable, call it R, and make it 0. So then the next one is B. And what is he? He's a little bit different. And let's go ahead and variabilize the margin var --m for that guy. And let's make B. B has very similar margins, but not the same. Oh, and I guess we need to make the var of the border width a little bit different, don't we? And probably the height as well, just because everything needs a. I'm going to say B for that border width, and then I'm going to make the height a variable as well, var --h or 60. Okay, that's a lot of pieces. All right, okay, so the B for border width is just going to be 30. And then the --r, and that is R, is 50%. That gets you a circle. So at the moment, he's too tall, but he's also in the wrong spot. So I need dash dash M to be different. To do that, I need this to be more negative. And I think it's got to be, what, minus 38? 30, minus 30. And then this gets to be, we're going to add 30 to that, I think. Is that right? Or 30, what is it? Yeah, I had 60. So what is that, 52? That's fine. So that seems to be moving into the right location, almost. And then we're going to decrease this by 60, probably. So that makes that 1, 4, 2, 4. Okay. We can see kind of what I'm doing there. The height of this is too high because we had, okay, bits and pieces. Well, that height is probably too small, huh? Maybe it's 40. And then this margin over here is too much. Oh, look at that. So then this border radius is actually a little bit different. It's got to be 0, 50%, 0, like that. Oh, and then even worse. Oh, that's great. All right, so this is the problem with the theory. Note the shape that's occurring there. Right. That is incorrect. So what can we do to fix that? Well, if we just make it a straight 50%, then we are missing out on the edge here. So the way I'm going to fix this is by setting a background. Radial gradient. Transparent, and I guess it's 15 pixels, and then white. Maybe it's 10 pixels. Maybe it's 30 pixels. 25 pixels. 25. Oh, how frustrating. Is it 20? 20 pixels. All right. There's your proof that I roughly know what I'm doing. So this is a lot of code, right? Like, we're doing a lot of code here. This is not almost certainly the most efficient way to do this, but it is sort of working. All right, so I'm making another B here. So I'm going to create a selector for that second one. And then I'm gonna cheat a little bit. I'm gonna do rotate 90 degrees. I want 80 degrees. And then I'm gonna translate it. No, we'll do the margins. We'll do the margins. Okay, so here's margins. We'll stick with that. I could also change the border radius to get it in position. So that, is that in the right spot? I'm just playing with numbers now, because the margins are going to, as long as I keep this second number and fourth number adding and subtracting appropriately, it will work. So I think I can just flop these numbers. This 232 goes where the 52 is, and the 52 goes where the 32 is, and then that works because mathematically they're symmetrical, like. So that's the next one. And then the last one, what happens if I make another one? Well, there it is. And I'm going to add a C to that guy. And I'm going to do a similar kind of a thing. C, rotate of also 180 degrees. Sure. And then these margins are going to be very similar. So I'm going to copy them. Sure. Dash dash M, colon. And I will flop this 302 with this -8. And it'll be, kind of. This would be -18, 28, -30. There we go. All right, so not very efficient, but it's hard to deny. In fact, you can't deny that it is matching the design. A lot of pieces and parts there. Let's minify, replace, and we're done. A lot of different ways to do this one. I would encourage you. This is a kind of perfect example of a design that can be done so many different ways that it makes my head spin. I can't, so many different cool things you can do here to do all the pieces and parts. All right, that's enough of that one. All right, let's go into this guy. I feel like this is two elements with a margin 0 auto. So it's centered, and the first one is a certain height and a certain width, and the second one is a certain height and certain width. They both have this background of this color, and then the body has a background here. And I'm going to create margins to create each one. So I'm going to get a variable, so 0, 40 for the second one, and I'm going to make this margin bar dash dash M or 0 auto, and then bar dash dash M 0 100. Oh, and it's not applying. What's going on here? Bar dash dash M. Oh, because P plus P is what I'm trying to do. There we go. All right. So why are these two guys not together? Because I needed that. That's what I needed. Okay. So let's increase our margins. Or let's say 5, 6, 7, and then that height is going to be 20, 30, 40, 50, 51, 2, 3, 4, 3, 4, 5. And then I think that margin is a little too much. 39, 38. And let's do clip paths. So this guy's height, the second one's height is a little bit bigger. 70, 80. And then those margins are too small. So 7, 9. Yeah. All right, and then it's about a clip path. And I'm going to variabilize that height. Dash dash H 55 becomes dash dash H here in the second one. All right, so clip path, and that's a triangle polygon, and 3 points. 50% 0 is the top, middle. 100% is bottom right, and then 0, 100% is bottom left. And those will cut off everything below, and you'll note that it is applying to both of them. So I'm going to variabilize this bar of dash dash C, or that polygon, and then this guy's polygon C will be polygon of what? 0, 0, 100% 0, and then something like 80%, 100%, 20%, 100%, something like that. And that's pretty close. We've got, so I'm going to submit this. It's not going to be 100%, I don't believe. If it is, I will be surprised. Yeah, 99.7%. So these margins are just a little bit off. And had I done a single element with this polygon, I would be, having to adjust each one of those coordinates several times. And you can do it. You can use calc to set margins and then do the math for each individual, positioning. But in this case, nah, let's not do that. So let's say 7, 6, 5. Right, so that's a little better. And then the second one, let's see. So we were at 99.7%. Let's see what our number is now. We're at 99.9% now, so slightly better, or better by 0.2%, but we're still not right. So I think it's this top margin. Maybe 69, maybe 69, and then that would make this just a little taller. And let's submit that. So just adjusting, nipping and tucking at each of the margins and how they're constraining these figures. And that's 100% match. So yes, that's the answer to that question. I'm kind of curious actually to see whether I can variabilize just the points. Because if I can do that, then I lose the word polygon. I'm going to surround that with that. And that's still working. So then I can just do the coordinates as the value. So 0, 0, comma, 100%, 0, comma, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And that is a nice tightening of the code, such as it is. So let's minify and unit replace, and that is a solution to that problem. Quite like that. And pretty good score. All right. And then lastly, what's the last one? Oh, this guy. This has me wanting to do what? I'm going to do the nested template today on this guy. So I set orange as the background of the HTML element, and then white is the background of the rest of this guy. And then set margins. It looks like the margins are a simple 67. That's cool. And then what do I need to do to make this shape? I mean, I think linear gradient, right? Or, conic gradient. Several linear gradients, let's say. We can do, I really have an impulse for conic gradient here. Whether that makes any sense, I don't know. But that's I'm going to go with my and that conic gradient is actually going to be at 0 and then down like 40 pixels. And then it's going to be 100 pixels wide, and I'm going to set a no repeat on him. Okay, so this segment is what I'm going to try and do. Just this guy with a top orange and a right orange. So that's going to be transparent, or actually I'm going to go ahead and choose orange. Orange 50%, and then white. And then orange again. And then if I set black in the background, you can see exactly what. So this is the object that I made. The orange and white over top of that black is what I've actually made for your viewing pleasure. All right, so that has got a width of a finite nature, and we're going to do a finite height as well. So there we go. So first step is let's move that directly where we want it, and then make it wider to be right where I want it, and then at, what is it, 100 pixels, 20 pixels or something, 10 pixels, 110, 20. All right. So that's what we created. And then if I let it repeat, we get that. We don't want that. We want to repeat that only on the y-axis. So we get that. And what that's reminding me is that we can variabilize that gradient. So we're going to variabilize that, plunk, like so. So I can replace that whole thing with dash dash G. Dash dash G. I don't know how to do a var anymore. Var dash dash G. There it is. And then I can do another one. Now I can do, here's the red in the background, but if I do another one, var dash dash G, and then move it over, I get that for free. Well, semi for free, and then move it down. That's kind of cool. I'm gonna move it over more. 2, 3. Too high, too low. 110. 90. And then over more. 3. There it is. So we use the same kind of gradient twice as a variable. And let's submit that and find out whether we've got it right. So again, that conic gradient is, I mean, it's a way to make neat conic gradients around a center. And in this case, we're putting that center in the top right corner and then making solid color. So you can create kind of anything out of tiles like that. Very similar in a lot of ways to how a lot of early video game graphics were made too, right? So that's kind of a fun thing about all that. I'm going to go ahead and minify and unit replace, and then try and see if there's anything else I can remove there. But with this approach, I think that's as short as I can make it. There's other nips and tucks I could make, but I'm not going to do that. It's a fine solution to that problem. We got 100% match, so that's good to go. So that's we're in May of 2024. The first, the second, and the third. I've actually got a page tracking this. Well, of course, no. Now my site's not going to come up right now this minute, so that's fun. But I've got a page tracking that on my website. That I've done about 75% of all of the daily targets in there. I've got videos for them on all, and you can check them out on YouTube at the moment. A lot of video, a lot of me saying and ah, a lot of me making conic gradients and setting widths and heights and margins and getting frustrated and having a lot of fun. I hope you enjoy this. Hope you're having a good day. Hope you be good to yourself and to others. And go make a webpage. All right. Bye.